some of you may or may not know, I assemble guitar kits and I modify just guitars I buy off of Reverb or Guitar Center or whoever. In this video in particular, I'm going to talk about a Orange Sparkle Strat that I currently own that did not start life as a Orange Sparkle Strat. So previously I had purchased a limited edition Squier Blue Sparkle Strat, and I really liked it. Well, messing around with like chroma keying on my phone with the picture of the guitar, I discovered I really thought it looked cool orange, and I really wanted an Orange Sparkle Strat, which are much harder to find than you think for a decent price. So I got to thinking, and I was like, I can probably do this. I had spray painted a guitar in the past. It didn't turn out that great, and this was like 13 years ago that I did this. I felt like I was a little bit smarter now, had a little bit more grip on the situation, should turn out better. So I did some digging, and I found a used Squier Affinity on Guitar Center's website for like $70. So I ordered it, and it showed up in a few days, and man, this thing was beat. I should have taken a before picture of it. Unfortunately, I did not. They've gone through a couple pick guards on it, and it was rough. It was very, very rough. So I stripped it all down, and ironically it had black hip-shot locking tuners on it, which was odd because the rest of the hardware was chrome, and I needed a black set of hip-shot locking tuners for my Blue Sparkle Strat, so that actually kind of worked out. But anyways, I stripped the guitar down, and I'd watched a couple videos. One in particular was by this dude named Iron Gordon, and it seemed like, I can do this. This doesn't seem all that complicated. So I followed the steps laid out in his video of him doing a similar, well, actually I did the exact same process he did he did one of Billy Joe's guitars from Green Day. So I scuffed up the body, and I started with primer. I used Rust-Oleum filler primer. Did a light coat, then a heavy coat, sanded that back, and then I did my base orange coat, which, the Rust-Oleum glitter paints, one thing I will tell you, I ordered mine off Amazon because we were in the midst of like everything being locked down, masks and shit, and I didn't feel like dealing with Lowe's. Everybody on Amazon seemed to think that the glitter paint didn't work right because it wasn't orange. The carrier is clear from my experience. You have to put a base coat on of a color of your choosing. I just ended up ordering some Harvest Orange for my base coat, and then I got to work with the glitter paint. Holy fuck, that shit is hard to work with. I had some runs, I had some separation on the back. I put the shit on too thick, but it was the back of the guitar, so I was like, whatever. The front had a couple runs. I just sanded those down, sprayed back over them. The back, like I said, I kind of just left alone because it is the back. The front, I got it to a point where I was comfortable with it, and then I set about using Rust-Oleum triple thick glaze for my clear coat, and I used 5 coats, I think it was 5 coats, and I thought, okay, I followed this dude's instructions the way he did it. His turned out well, mine's gonna turn out well, and it did. It looked pretty cool. It played, when I put it all back together, it played real nice, and I was happy. The triple thick glaze seemed like it was a fairly sturdy thing, or coat, or finish. I sanded it down to get rid of the orange peel and all that, and I sanded up to 2000 grit, and then I hand polished it with Meguiar's Ultimate Compound and microfiber cloth. Reassembled the guitar, played it, set it down, went to sleep or whatever. A couple days later I come back, I pick it up, it makes this like noise. The fuck is that? I flip it over, and then where it was sitting in the stand, there's like these 2 ugly splotches on the body of the guitar. I'm like, what the fuck? To circle back around to when I did the finish coats, I let it sit for a week. So I thought it should have been cured pretty well by then. I kept it out in the garage overnight, and then I brought it into the house and let it sit. So it wasn't like it was in a temperature controlled room for a week, so it wasn't out in like the humidity or anything, and I couldn't wrap my head around what happened here. So I just kind of was like, alright, I'll live with it, it's on the sides, whatever. Later on I got a wild hair in my ass to paint another guitar that I had, because I just kind of wasn't feeling the color that it was, and I wanted I kind of wanted this, like, almost an Aztec gold Strat, and I was kind of feeling out this spray painting thing, and I was like, you know what, let me try another one. Did another one, and I had the same problem with it. I was kind of like, alright, this is a catastrophic failure, now I got 2 fucked up guitars. Eventually I came to the conclusion that, you know what, I'm just going to pull the trigger, I'll sand them down, or I won't sand them down, I'll scuff them up, and then I'll spray 2K clear over them, which, if you don't know about 2K clear, that shit's hard as a rock, and you need all kinds of protection. I had the orange guitar, I actually had 3 projects, because once I seen what was all involved, let me get all my ducks in a row, and I'll use this 2K clear. So, had my projects laid out. I reached a point where I finally had a nice day, because I didn't want to do this in the garage, and I could do it outside. Got everything ready to go. I did 3 coats on the front, 2 coats on the back of all my projects, and I waited. A couple days later, I sanded everything down, polished it, and I highly suggest, because I did try just saying, the hell with it, I'll just hand polish it with Meguiar's Ultimate Compound, like I did with the 2K, or with the triple thick glaze. If this is a process you plan on doing, save yourself the time, effort, and shoulder pain. Just go to Harbor Freight, buy a $20 palm polisher. You'll save yourself so much hassle and headache. I reassembled the guitar. Have not had the issues that I was having before, thankfully. I wonder if perhaps the foam in my stands that the guitar was touching did something. I know people have had issues with some of these stands and the foam on them fucking with the finish on, like, nitrocellulose finished guitars. I'm not 100% sure what the issue was, but all I'm going to say is I think from now on I'm just going to go with the 2K clear from Spray Max for finishing projects. Other things I did to the guitar: put chrome hip shot locking tuners in, and installed roller string trees because I didn't put staggered tuners in. Replaced the nut with a bone nut, and I installed Dragonfire screamers into this guitar. Put chrome knobs on it, just, I don't know, I thought the chrome knobs kind of look cool. And a Fender 3-way selector switch, just because I like the Fender switches, because the tabs to solder everything on are a little bit bigger and it's easier to solder. She was finally done, and it turned into a really nice guitar. I mean, it's got some imperfections, don't get me wrong. I haven't made that perfect guitar yet. I'm getting closer and closer, but it's a learning experience, and the guitars that I've done in the last 3 months are leaps and bounds better than the guitars that I did at the same time last year. You know, it's just one of those things, you gotta stick with it, and you'll get there. This guitar turned out almost exactly what I had in my head, and you know, from going from a little used, beat-up Squier Affinity to what it is now, I am quite happy with the end result. I mean, it took a lot of frustration and some headaches to get there, but I couldn't be happier with where I am. I'm working on how to better document my process, because I do get a little, I guess you could say it's more of like a guerrilla thing, because like I basically utilize what I can when I can. So I don't have set schedules. I don't have a proper workshop. There's a lot of shooting from the hip, so to speak. So I mean, if this is something that people are interested in seeing, I have no problem investing in some camera equipment to try to better document this process, so you're not stuck just looking at photos that I took with my phone. And also, if you feel so inclined, I do document a lot of these steps on my Instagram page. Go there and see what's going on with the various projects I have. And I enjoy talking about guitars, so if people enjoy listening to it, you know, I think we can make something happen.